Good morning. We will begin our service with the ringing of the temple bell. At this time, please silence your cell phones and listen quietly as the sounding of the concho is an invitation to settle our hearts and mind as we prepare to receive the Dharma. Thank you.
Namanam, 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 namanam.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Nihane or Nirvana Day Service. A special warm aloha to Reverend Hirosato Yoshida of Soto Mission of Hawaii for joining us today as our guest speaker. Nirvana Day is an observance of Shakyamuni Buddha's Memorial Day. As explained by Reverend Blaine, Shakyamuni awakened to truth and became the Buddha at the age of 35. After sharing the Dharma for the next 45 years, he attained perfect enlightenment or parirana with his death at age 80. Nirvana Day is one of the three observances commemorating the life of Shakyamuni Buddha, the other two being his birthday on April 8th and his awakening on December 8th. I am Kira Nishihara Estrada, and I will serve as your MC today. Assisting at the temple with technical support are Alan Matsumono, Lynn Katayama, and Joey Guzman. Korean Chong is our organist, and Bede Takioka will lead the singing. Let us start the service with offering of flowers by Hetty Casquilla Gray and Jack Nunberg. Offering of lights will be done by my cousins Taylor and Kendra Nishihara. Please rise for the Vandana and Tisarana. Please sing both Pali and English parts together with Reverend Blaine.
Vutnamanda, 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 Vutnamanda.
Please remain standing as Reverend Blaine will now offer incense and share an aspiration.
Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda. Please join me in Gasho. We gather this morning as friends in the Dharma, as fellow travelers on the journey of life. On Nirvana Day, we remember the passing of Shakyamuni Buddha into the complete and perfect peace of Parinirvana. As he lay beneath the twin salo trees nearing the end of his human life, he shared a final teaching with his disciples. Make my teachings your light. The teachings that I have given you are never to be forgotten or abandoned. They are always to be treasured. They are to be thought about. They are to be practiced. If you follow these teachings, you will always be happy. May we deeply reflect on the inescapable truths of impermanence and interdependence, nurturing a life of compassion and spiritual freedom for ourselves and others. Let us strive to listen to the Buddha Dharma with not only our ears, but with our entire being, and work to embody the teachings in our thoughts, words, and actions. As we face this dark and perilous time for our nation, may we always find refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows us the way in this life, the Dharma, the way of understanding and love, and the Sangha, the community that lives in harmony and awareness. Entrusting the dynamic working of all-inclusive wisdom and all-embracing compassion, we call the honored name of Amida, the Buddha of infinite light and life, with deep gratitude, abiding joy, and a heart-centered awareness for the miracle of each unrepeatable moment. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu.
Please be seated. It is now time for the offering of incense by Sangha members in attendance. Please come up and offer incense if you wish, starting with the front rows and moving towards the back. Please use both incense burners. Let us observe a moment of silent meditation.
Namandam, 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 namandam.
Reverend Blaine will now lead us in chanting the Sutra Sambutsuge. Words can be found on page 47 in the Jodo Shinshu book, service book and on the screen. Again, page 47.
The Buddha of infinite light and life made vows to embrace all beings equally without exception. These vows promise to create a perfect world where no suffering or evil exists and guides us to supreme awakening. The Sambutsuge, or hymn in praise of Buddha, is a poem from the larger Pure Land Sutra in which Amida Buddha, as a bodhisattva, praises his teacher and makes his 48 vows to establish the pure land of enlightenment for the welfare and happiness of all beings. We chant the words of the Buddha as a reminder of these great vows made to awaken and to liberate us all. The hymn in praise of Buddha. Busatan Muroju Kyo Sambutsuge.
周易该宁受精牛在三脉西一周五世头个不不有心安一塞个个一撒大安也是不雅个生都个满没有大手是牛国家个有一塞西头手不不牛个都更受分雅一牛国家受不自世界不不抗诶不是三多公有西受很西受国个牛在受精一真难有六个萨不国个都大一国是金有都就求在国个牛乃用你们都所阿头爱民都达你塞解破来说心内受着一头阿国给那个安农国本神妙在阿心受我安诺伊利基受受有解破世松西耶门耶若流西松西阿心有给流心西受个多个知阿有受精念之佛言南无南无
Please rise for the Gatha, Evening Gatha. Words can be found on page 55 in the Purple Praises of the Buddha Gatha book and on your screen. Again, page 55.
Shadows o'er the earth are stealing, soon the darkness will descend. Gladly we around thee gather, teacher, master, guide and friend. When that last long, darksome twilight all the lights of earth shall hide, truth within its arms shall hold us, bearing us across its tide. Ever onward, ever upward, gently held in love's embrace, till we reach Nirvana's summit and behold truth face to face.
Please be seated. This morning, I'm happy to introduce our guest speaker, Reverend Hirosato Yoshida of Soto Mission of Hawaii. Reverend Yoshida was born in Shizuoka, Japan, and moved to Hilo at the age of 7 when his father became the resident minister at the Hilo Taishoji Soto Mission. Later, his family relocated to Oahu, where Reverend Yoshida graduated from Roosevelt High School and earned a BA in Anthropology and Religion at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. Following graduation, he returned to Japan for monastic training at the Daihonzan Eihiji Bitsuen Chokokuji. For 8 years, he served at the Sotoshu Administrative Headquarters, helping to facilitate and coordinate anniversary events for Soto Zen Buddhism across Hawaii, North America, South America, and Europe. During 2021 and 2022, he also served as the Director of Social Media and Intergenerational Programs for the Hawaii Association of International Buddhists. In 2018, Reverend Yoshida left his position at the Sotoshu Administrative Headquarters to become a resident minister at the Soto Mission of Hawaii Betsuen and Ko'i Soto Zen Temple Zenchuji in Hanapepe. Reverend Yoshida serves the members and friends of Soto Temple in Hawaii with great dedication. Please give a warm welcoming aloha to Reverend Hirosato Yoshida.
Aloha. Thank you very much for having me today. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. I would like to also express my gratitude to Reverend Blaine for inviting me today to speak, and Linda, Reverend Linda, for picking me at the airport. We had a nice breakfast at Teshima's. So I'm very stuffed, and I'm very when you're full, you know, you become very happy, right? But thank you very much to everyone here for your time to listen to me as well. Before I begin, I guess I just want to say when I was kind of looking around this neighborhood, it's such a nice community here in Kona. Going to Teshima's, Linda was like, she's so how much? 3, 4, 5 individuals that she knew, and we're just shaking hands, greeting each other, and I see that this whole community here in Kona is very connected to each other, and I feel that there's a lot of compassion, love, and people knowing each other is such a great community to be here. And I'm sure the same for all of you here today. And when I came in from the entrance on the front here, I saw that 2026 theme is nurturing Nembutsu, sharing gratitude. And I think this is such a fitting theme for not just this year, but also for this service today as a Nehae service. And I know today we gathered for Nehae, or Parinirvana, the day we remember the passing of the Buddha. When we picture this moment, the Buddha lies down quietly. No spectacles, no final commands. Of course, he left us with a great deal of teachings, but no longer needs to explain the lengthy teachings right in his bedside, right before he's taking his last breath. It's just the stillness. Most people expect, I would say, like a final word from such a great master, leaving behind. And I'm sure when you have you ever seen a scroll of the Nehae scroll? It's at Soto Mission. We tend to have the scroll of the Nehae scroll at the service. I'm not sure at Daifkuji, but at Betsuin, where I'm currently residing, we have a big scroll where the Buddha lies in the middle, sleeping. And then you have the different disciples of the Buddha circling around him with animals, even demons, and different type of animals in the wild circling him in sorrow for the lost. And that picture or the scroll depicts the last moment of the Buddha passing on. But in that moment, you see that he did not leave a list of answers. What he left was trust in all of us. Trust in the Dharma, trust in practice, and trust in people living their lives in the difficult world we live today. When I reflect on the Buddha's passing, I do not feel the disappearance. I feel an inheritance instead. Sometimes when we look at death, we kind of have this black and white idea that the individual is no longer here with us and is passed on. And we lose that connection with the individual. But I think that's, in terms of the physical presence, but in the spiritual presence, it still continues to follow you as you continue your day. And also responsibilities shift into the hands of those still living. And this became very real to me as a minister. I often have I shouldn't say opportunity, but moments where I have a great opportunity to learn someone special in our temple sangha. And in a few years or in many years from there, you start to lose one person at a time as they age and passes on. And you lose that connection with the individual. And slowly, as a minister, I realized the impermanence. And recently, my grandmother passed away 2 weeks ago in Japan. And that also kind of got me to think again about the passing of someone special. And she was my last grandma living in this world, or my grandparents per se. So when I received the news while I was actually on Kauai for their New Year's blessing service, and I was just about to get on the plane from Kauai to Honolulu, returning back, and I got a text from my father saying that her condition had changed. I remember standing there with my phone in my hand, surrounded by movement and noise, And I told my father I'll call when I returned to Wafu. And she passed away soon after. When I shared this with others, some people asked if I regret not, changing my flight to just stay there to talk with my grandma or give, my family a call. But in reality, I do not regret. For years before that moment, I had already been living with the understanding that each meeting might be the last. Especially when I live here in Hawaii and she lives in Japan. It's not where I can just fly over in the next flight to visit her. So distance eventually taught me the impermanence very clearly. And because of that, I had already been saying goodbye many times, not with words. Of course, every time I meet her, I would kind of in my head wonder, would this be the last time I'll see grandma? Or will I have another opportunity to see her, as she was in her mid-90s. So, and I had already been, living in that situation. So with that, stays with me now that, her presence was something special to me, but at the same time, it's gotten to me that, of course, as a Buddhist, we all know that impermanence, right? So nothing will last forever, and that moment will leave with me as well. So, just going back to that, the time spent together, the moments that she had with me, the quiet support, the expectation she held for me, gifts I enjoyed as a child. I remember one of the things that she bought me. This was when I was still living in Hilo, growing up. I think it was like around 96, 97, was for Christmas, she bought me a Nintendo 64. And that was such a pleasant toy that I grew up fond of. And these little moments that you grow up, you remember who bought certain things. And there's a lot of things that I received down, as growing up. And I don't remember which gift I got from who and who, but specifically this Nintendo 64 was such a big part of my life that I still remember that it was a gift from her. But there's so many other things, including teachings that she has shared with me, and the way she watched over my life without controlling it. When she died, nothing extraordinary happened. The flights continued on, schedules held on, the world stayed ordinary, and just so happened that same day that I heard the news, one of our temple member passed away, and I had no time to be in this grievance and had to go out to do a service, a makuragyo service for another individual. And so life just continues on, even though you lose someone special in life. But I like to just say that, it's not that she disappeared from my presence or my life. What she gave me, how she cared, how she shaped my life, all of that lives inside of me. And her life affected me, it made me who I am. Her love is safely tucked inside my heart. In this way, she continues to live inside of me. And before we speak about interconnection, I want to ask something simple. Do you know, of course, your parents' name? Most people do. And do you know your grandparents' name? Four of their names. How many people knows their great-grandparents' name? You have 8 to know. Anyone in here can say all 8? All 8? No. And of course, the following is 16, and ours great-great-grandparents, right? So if we keep counting back towards all of that, within 10 generations back, there are more than 1,000 ancestors that we are related to. And 20 generations back, the number passes 1 million. And if we keep counting back towards that time of the Buddha, about 2,600 years ago, it's roughly about 80 generations ago. And if we do the same math, the number reaches 1 sextillion ancestors. First time I heard that number. But it says it's about 21 zeros. And Obviously, the question is, this number is far greater than the number of humans who ever lived on this earth. So the math doesn't get that simple as you just count exponentially back in many generations. So if you were to count towards all the way back to your first ancestors who started walking, the Australopithecus, imagine what that would turn out to be. But again, the math doesn't equate that simple. So the math breaks open the new question instead of answering. Family lines do not expand outwards forever. They fold inward at some point. Villages overlap, people marry within the same community. The same ancestors may appear again and again in different branches. And line merges, and histories intertwines. And by the time we reach the Buddha's era, 2600 years ago, the idea of separate bloodline loses strength. And as history goes, we know that relatives have married each other in the past. And our lives are deeply shared. Long before names disappear, connections already exist. The physical world tells the same story. The water that moves through clouds, river, oceans, our body, the water we drink today has passed through countless lives across the history. The breath or the air molecules that we breathe here may have been the same molecules that our ancestors who built this temple have breathed. And even furthering down, maybe the same breath that Shinran Shonin has taken. And it can go all the way back to the Buddha and so forth. And that includes any other molecules. I like to watch some of the YouTube on Neil deGrasse and he had shared something like this, where the atoms that have been made at the Big Bang 13.8 billion years ago, it's still here. It just keeps getting recycled. So it might not be the exact same thing, but that part of that thing that was made 13 billion years ago still exists today, and it composes who we are. And that kind of, puts us back into this perspective of interconnectedness, that nothing stays owned by one person, nothing stays separate. What flows through us now has flown through others before us. And that's how we can connect with not just, ourselves being connected to one another, but also in the, little bit of scientifically, we can know that, we might be connected in somehow, not just physically, but through different interactions we do just by living in each moment. In this sense, the Buddha never left us, right? My grandma never left this world either. She still lives through what she passed on, through how I live. The Buddha still lives on through the teachings that he had shared. Through the care I show, through the value I carry forward, the Buddha lives through what he entrusted to people. The final teachings, the many teachings that he has shared, still continues to live after 2,600 years in a foreign land in Hawaii, where he probably never knew that this island existed when he was living. But still, his teachings continues on in our hearts. And it means acting without clear instruction. It means facing loss and responsibility without someone else solving it for us. And it's for us to look at that teaching and try to see how that fits into our personal life. The Dharma, he says, that does not walk for us. It shows us how to walk. It offers direction, not certainty. When someone we love dies, explanations do not arrive. What arrives is a question. How will I live now? How will I carry what I received? How will love continue through my action? And as I reflect on all of that and putting it to my grandma's case, I have to imagine how would she want me to live, not just sit in sorrow. And I'm sure the same reflects on all of us, how our parents wanted us to be, how our grandparents raised us and expected us, and goes all the way to just imagining ourselves how did Shinran Shonin, or Dogen Zenji in my case of Soto, how did he teach the teachings of the Buddha? And am I respecting and taking responsibility for what he has shared? And it goes all the way back to the Buddha. Now, that question, not what should be believed, but how life should be lived. And in Soto tradition, we have one word that kind of describes everything like this. It's called shusho funi. Shu is practice, sho is the teaching. Funi means that they're not separate, meaning that teachings and the practice are not a separate thing. Like you can imagine, right? In our ordinary life of our, day-to-day things that we do in our life, there are a lot of things we learn in the books. But if we don't put that into practice, it's just the wasted knowledge we gain. And slowly that knowledge becomes wisdom as we continue to practice. And that wisdom can be shared to the next generation. And with all of that, I feel that the teachings of the Buddha, the teachings of Dogen Zenji, teachings of Shinran Shonin or Honen Shonin, all the past great ancestors of Buddhism are all conveniently in front of us in this sutra books. It's up to us to revisit them and learn what they really actually mean in our day-to-day life, because when they were living, the problems they probably had, the foundational things have never changed, about life being suffering and how we deal with these have not changed. But how we perceive these may have changed through time. Like, I don't think Dogen Zenji or Shonin have wondered, oh, what's the next iPhone coming out? Should I buy it or not? I don't think that was the kind of dilemma they had. But maybe they had, oh, there's a new type of paper to write our sutra book. Should I buy that fancy new paper or not? I don't know. I'm just guessing. But all of that, the dilemmas that we carry might be different, but the way we solve them probably do not change. The way they have solved the problems they faced still can be applied to how we solve today. So with all of that, on this day of Nirvana Day, we do not only remember the Buddha, we accept what he entrusted to us, that we will be able to figure out our own problems through the teachings he has shared. Our lives become the place where teachings continue quietly and faithfully through how we live. So on this day, once again, I'd like to express my gratitude for inviting me today to be your speaker. But if you could please take home with you one thing that you have received today, will be that teachings that we have today, the fortunate times we have with being able to have moments to learn these teachings. It's not a teachings that were just laid down in front of us, but it was a teaching that was entrusted to us by the Buddha, by the forefathers of the Buddhist community. And that's why it still continues to be here. And that can be applied to our personal life as well with our beloved loved ones that have passed on. So once again, thank you very much for your time today and this opportunity for me to be here. So thank you. Please put your hands together in Gassho. We go to the Buddha for guidance. We go to the Dharma for guidance. We go to the Sangha for guidance. Thank you.
Thank you for your message, Reverend Yoshida. My grandma, Myrna Kunihira, will lead us in unison reading of the Eightfold Path to Happiness. Words can be found on the handouts and on the screen. Please recite the passage out loud with her.
I guess I need to use some short. The teachings of the Buddha help us to understand the oneness of all life. To lead us in the right direction, the Buddha provided us with the Eightfold Path, right views, to keep free of prejudice and superstition, and to see the true nature of life, right thoughts, to turn our minds away from violence and hatred, right speech, to refrain from harmful talk and to use our words wisely, right conduct, to see that our deeds come from peace and goodwill, to grow every day in the Buddha's teachings, right livelihood, to try to earn our living in such a way that we avoid causing suffering, right energy, to use our energies to promote the overcoming of ignorance and industrial desires, right mindfulness, to cherish a good mind, for all that we think and do has its roots in the mind, right meditation, to study the teachings of the Buddha and to practice them to the best of our abilities. May the presence of the Buddha, who said that he would live in his teachings, be our guide. May we follow this path until we too realize nirvana.
Thank you, Grandma. We will now have the offertory presentation. Mahalo everyone for your kind generosity, which helps to sustain our temple. We will conclude this service with the singing of the Gatha Nambutsu. Please rise.
Namandab, 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 namandab. Namandab, it's namandab, it's namandab.
You may be seated. This concludes today's Nirvana Day service. Here are some announcements. Upcoming schedule of services, events, and reminders. There will be no service next Sunday, February 8th. Sunday, February 15th, save the date for our 2026 General Membership Meeting and New Year's Luncheon starting at 10 a.m. There will be a memorial service and meeting in the Hondo with luncheon to follow in the social hall. We will honor Kirokai members turning 80 this year, celebrate our centenarians, and welcome new members. Plan to join us for this time of fun and fellowship as we celebrate the new year together as Sangha. Enjoy Ono food, entertainment, games, and prizes. Please RSVP to the temple office by February 6th or sign up on the RSVP sheet which will be circulating today. Big event, Sunday, February 22nd. Konohongonji will host the annual Big Island Gotha Fest starting at 9 a.m. A short service will be held in the temple, followed by the program in the social hall. Sangha members from around the island will be gathering here to share their selected songs. Once again, may we please ask for your kokua in hosting this big event as well as in singing our own song. Our songwriter, Darren Katayama, has written Dharma lyrics to the well-known song White Sandy Beach of Hawaii, originally sung by Israel Kamaka Vivahole. Our version is entitled Bright Pure Land of Amida. We have scheduled practice sessions at 5:30 p.m. for the next 3 Fridays, February 6th, 13th, and 20th. Plus, we will perform the song for the annual Kyodan meeting on February 15th. Please join us at our practice sessions and our performances. Also, a good head count is needed for bento lunch, so please sign up on the RSVP sheet circulating today. Any other announcements, anyone?
Oh, I just want to thank, Glenda, go ahead. Oh, Glenda, go ahead.
Thank you. As you may already know, next week, February 7th, on Saturday, is Cherry Blossom Festival in Waimea. And we, once again, are going to participate with the mochi making. And thank you for those of you who have volunteered to help, but we can always use more help. And for those of you who will be helping us, after refreshments today, we'd like you to stay back for a very short meeting so we can coordinate travel plans. Thank you.
So thank you everybody for joining us for our Nirvana Day service. I want to thank Sensei for joining us, coming from Oahu early this morning. Thank you. And we look forward to seeing you more often here in Kona. So thank you. So like Sensei mentioned, right, we are here to practice, to learn and to practice the teachings of the Buddha, right? As you can see on the altar, we have the masters of the Pure Land tradition, all going back all the way to time of Shakyamuni, right? And so we are so grateful and so fortunate to be able to receive these teachings, right? To receive the Dharma, but more importantly, right? Not just to learn the Dharma, but to practice and to live these teachings in our everyday lives. So that's what we need even more in our world today, right? Just like the light of a candle, right? Eventually it'll burn down and it'll get extinguished, right? But the light continues long after the candle's gone, right? And each of us, right, is sharing light and sharing love in this world, and we need more light and more love every day. So I hope we can remember that as we honor and remember Shakyamuni Buddha. So mahalo.
This morning we have a lot of attendance. Looks really good because we have a lot of guests who came from Seattle. So they are friends of our Sangha member, Nelson Harano. So Nelson, would you like to introduce them, and would you all stand, please?
Nelson, you can come more often, yeah? Anytime, you're welcome to come, yeah? So,
Welcome.
Any other announcements? No? Okay. Again, a great mahalo to Reverend Hirosato Yoshida for being our guest speaker today. Those of you on Zoom, you may leave at any time. Those of you here in person, refreshments will be served in the social hall. Many thanks to Glenda Yamagata Pasalakwa and anyone else who brought goodies to share. Much appreciation also to Midget Kaneko for preparing the altar rice balls. Please stay healthy and safe, and we look forward to seeing you at the song practices, the annual Kyodan Luncheon, and at Gotha Fest. Remember to RSVP for the annual Kyodan Luncheon and Gotha Fest by signing up on the list being circulated or call the church office. Thank you all for joining us.
And great job, Kira. Oh, so actually, the refreshments will be in the conference room in the back. So, oh, social hall, we moved it. Okay, social hall, sorry.